Sophia had always felt invisible in her own home. For years, her parents treated her like a shadow, their attention always elsewhere. Birthdays came and went with little acknowledgement, and even major achievements in school were met with a polite nod at best. Yet she never let their indifference break her spirit. Behind closed doors, she nurtured her ambitions, pouring every ounce of energy into building her career. From a small startup she launched in her 20s, Sophia meticulously crafted her company, navigating obstacles that would have crushed the average entrepreneur. Long nights, countless rejections, and the pressure of proving herself without familial support became her routine. Each setback only strengthened her resolve, each minor victory igniting a quiet pride that no one in her family noticed. Christmas approached, a season that once filled her with bittersweet memories of loneliness and longing. She remembered the way she would decorate the house as a child, hoping for even a glance of approval from her parents. Now that very holiday would be the stage for a revelation they would never see coming. Sophia had kept a significant secret from everyone. Her company had grown beyond anything her parents could imagine. What started as a modest venture had turned into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. The number she had quietly reached, $170 million, was something she had never spoken about aloud, not even to her closest friends. It wasn't about showing off, it was about proving to herself that she could succeed despite the years of neglect. In the days leading up to Christmas, she meticulously planned how she would reveal the news. She wanted the moment to be unforgettable, not out of spite, but as a testament to how far she had come. The strategy involved a casual dinner with family, the warmth of holiday decorations masking the tension beneath. Every detail was considered: what she would say, how she would phrase the reveal, and the reactions she anticipated. Sophia's mornings were consumed with final preparations for the dinner, checking last-minute details while maintaining a calm demeanor around her parents. She had learned to mask emotions expertly, a skill developed through years of needing to hide disappointment. But this time, the mask would come off at just the right moment, allowing her triumph to speak louder than any words of confrontation. Her siblings noticed the slight change in her demeanor, a confident poise that hadn't been there before. Questions arose casually about work, but Sophia gave only measured responses, keeping the secret close to her chest. She knew anticipation would heighten the eventual impact. Her parents would never expect the scale of her success. By late afternoon, the house was filled with the aroma of festive foods, laughter echoing in familiar spaces, yet Sophia remained calm, her mind focused entirely on the upcoming revelation. The irony wasn't lost on her. A season meant for family closeness had once highlighted her isolation, and now it would highlight her achievements in a way no one could ignore. As the sun dipped below the horizon, she caught her reflection in the mirror, her eyes reflecting a mixture of excitement and composure. For years, she had felt like an outsider in her own home. Tonight, that feeling would shift, if only for a few moments, as the secret she had carried silently for so long was ready to surface. The dinner table was set with care, the soft glow of Christmas lights casting a warm hue across the room. Sophia's parents chatted casually with her siblings, unaware that the night would soon take an unexpected turn. She joined them with a calm smile, her posture composed, yet inside, a storm of excitement brewed. Every laugh, every clink of silverware reminded her of how long she had waited for a moment where she could finally be seen. Small talk flowed, discussions about work and holidays filling the gaps of silence that often marked family gatherings. Sophia answered questions with polite brevity, careful not to give away the secret she had guarded so closely. Each question about her life was an opportunity to build suspense subtly, keeping her parents in the dark, yet drawing them unknowingly closer to the revelation. Memories of past Christmases lingered in her mind, the unacknowledged achievements, the overlooked milestones, the sense of being invisible in the very home she had grown up in. She remembered sitting alone, hoping for praise that never came, dreaming of a day when she could stand tall and proud, not just in her own eyes but in theirs as well. Tonight, that dream was about to materialize. Sophia excused herself briefly under the pretense of finishing preparations for dessert. In the kitchen, she retrieved a small folder containing the final documents that would confirm the sale of her company. This was more than just numbers, it was proof of years of dedication, resilience, and an unwavering belief in her own potential. The weight of the secret she carried was heavy, but she felt no fear, only anticipation. Returning to the table, Sophia sensed the subtle shift in the atmosphere. Her parents' laughter continued, but there was an undercurrent of curiosity. She had perfected her timing, choosing the exact moment when everyone's attention was fully on her, a pause long enough to capture suspense, yet brief enough to maintain casual normalcy. Then, with a composed breath, she began. "I have something I want to share with all of you," she said, her voice steady but firm. "It's been a long journey and I've kept this to myself until now." There was a brief silence, a subtle leaning forward from her parents, a flicker of interest in her siblings' eyes. Sophia held their gaze, letting the suspense build just enough to draw their full attention. Her words were measured, carefully chosen to maintain impact while avoiding any hint of arrogance. She described the growth of her company, the countless challenges she had overcome, the nights spent working while the world seemed to ignore her efforts. Her parents listened, their expressions shifting from casual disinterest to mild surprise, then disbelief. Sophia could see the wheels turning in their minds, realizing they had underestimated her for years. As she revealed the final piece, the $170 million sale, they were stunned into silence. The room, once filled with chatter and casual conversation, now held a tangible tension, an electric mix of shock and awe. Sophia remained composed, her heart racing, a smile playing at the corners of her lips. She had anticipated their reaction, yet seeing it firsthand was even more satisfying than she had imagined. For the first time in years, Sophia felt fully recognized. Not because of the money, not because of the company, but because she had demonstrated undeniable proof of her capabilities. This was her moment of triumph, a silent statement that she had succeeded despite the lack of support, despite the neglect, and despite the years of being overlooked. The silence that followed Sophia's announcement was heavy, almost tangible. Her parents sat frozen, their eyes wide with a mixture of shock and disbelief. For years, they had seen her as invisible, underestimated her intelligence and ambition, and now, in one evening, she had rewritten their perception entirely. Sophia could feel the shift in the room, a subtle but undeniable acknowledgement of her presence and achievements. Her siblings exchanged glances, some smiling quietly, others trying to mask their astonishment. They had always known Sophia was driven, but the scale of her success surpassed even their expectations. The secret she had carried for years had transformed into a moment of empowerment, not just for her, but for everyone witnessing her reveal. Sophia leaned back slightly in her chair, maintaining an air of calm composure. She had carefully orchestrated this moment to maximize its impact. Every word spoken, every pause taken, had been calculated to ensure that her family fully grasped the extent of her accomplishments. This was not a boast, it was a revelation, a necessary unveiling of the truth that had been hidden beneath years of neglect. Her parents struggled to form words. The mother's lips trembled, the father's brow furrowed, a mixture of pride and regret crossing their faces. Sophia recognized the subtle signs, guilt intertwined with admiration, disbelief blended with newfound respect. The realization that they had misjudged her all these years was evident, yet it came too late to erase the past. "I never told anyone because I wanted to prove it to myself first," Sophia continued, her voice steady. "I wanted to show that I could rise above the neglect, that my worth isn't determined by anyone else's recognition. And now I can finally share this with you." Her words were precise, deliberate, carrying the weight of years spent in silence, moments of frustration, and the quiet determination that had fueled her journey. A small, almost imperceptible smile formed on her mother's face, her eyes glistening with tears. Sophia's father remained quiet, but the tension in his posture softened. Her siblings, still processing the shock, began to congratulate her, their voices filled with genuine admiration. For the first time, Sophia felt the recognition she had longed for, not just acknowledgement of her achievements, but understanding of the resilience, intelligence, and perseverance that had brought her to this moment. The room, once heavy with casual chatter and unnoticed presence, now held a vibrant energy. The dynamics had shifted subtly but permanently. Sophia had claimed her space, asserted her value, and transformed the perception of her family in a single evening. It wasn't about revenge in the traditional sense. It was about validation, self-respect, and the undeniable proof that she had succeeded on her own terms. As the night wore on, the conversations gradually returned to festive topics, but the undercurrent of awe and realization lingered. Sophia smiled quietly to herself, the satisfaction of a plan executed flawlessly warming her heart. The journey from invisibility to undeniable presence had reached its pivotal moment, and the emotional impact would resonate long after the decorations were taken down. Sophia's thoughts drifted briefly to the years of struggle, the moments she had questioned herself, the times she had felt overlooked, the countless hours of work that had gone unnoticed. But none of that mattered now. Tonight, she had shown her family who she truly was, and that revelation was worth every sacrifice, every lonely night, every doubt she had ever faced. The final moments of the evening carried a different energy than the rest of the night. Sophia noticed subtle shifts in her parents' behavior, the way they lingered near her, the hesitant yet admiring glances they exchanged. Their earlier indifference had transformed into a recognition of the person she had become. Strong, successful, and unshakably confident. Sophia spoke calmly but with a quiet authority, recounting anecdotes from her journey that highlighted the dedication and strategy behind her company's growth. Every detail served to underscore her competence without veering into arrogance. She wanted them to understand not just the financial outcome, but the intelligence, resilience, and determination that had fueled her success. Her parents listened, nodding slowly, each revelation chipping away at the years of neglect and misjudgment. Sophia felt a sense of empowerment she hadn't experienced before, validation not granted, but earned. She realized that the purpose of this evening wasn't merely to impress them, but to assert her own worth in the clearest, most undeniable way possible. Sophia's siblings chimed in, offering congratulations, laughter, and amazement. The air was now charged with emotion, a mix of pride, disbelief, and newfound respect. She could see in their eyes that the perception of her had shifted forever. This wasn't just a one-night victory. It was a recalibration of family dynamics, a silent statement that her years of effort and resilience had finally been acknowledged. The room seemed smaller somehow, filled with intimacy and tension. Sophia's gaze met her parents'. A moment of unspoken understanding passed between them. They had failed to recognize her earlier, but tonight they were confronted with undeniable proof of her capabilities. And she had done it without anger, without confrontation, only through demonstration of skill, patience, and relentless drive. Sophia allowed herself a private smile. She had maintained composure throughout the reveal, yet internally, waves of satisfaction rolled through her. Every moment of past neglect, every ounce of dismissal, every small hurt she had endured was now contrasted by this tangible moment of triumph. It wasn't revenge in the petty sense. It was a celebration of her own accomplishments, a vindication of years spent proving herself in silence. As dessert was served and the family exchanged more subdued, reflective conversation, Sophia felt a sense of closure. She had carried this secret for years, and now it was revealed not for shock value alone, but to assert her identity. The holiday lights twinkled around her, casting warmth on a scene that had once been marked by isolation. This Christmas, she wasn't invisible. She was undeniable. Finally, as the evening drew to a close, Sophia quietly stepped away, reflecting on the journey that had led her here. The path had been long, filled with challenges that might have disheartened others. But her persistence had paid off, allowing her to not only succeed, but to redefine the way her family perceived her. It was a silent victory, profound in its simplicity, powerful in its impact. Sophia's heart swelled with a mixture of relief, pride, and quiet joy. She had done it, proved her worth, commanded attention, and created a memory that would linger in her family's minds long after the decorations were put away. The journey of being overlooked had ended tonight, replaced by undeniable recognition, respect, and an unforgettable Christmas moment. Sophia smiled to herself one last time, savoring the feeling of triumph. Years of neglect, invisibility, and doubt had culminated in this perfect revelation. And now, with her secret revealed and her success undeniable, she could finally bask in the quiet satisfaction of having proven herself beyond any shadow of doubt.